everyone. Thank you for coming out for the second evening of Rugby's Ghostly Gathering. I'm Kemp. I'm a part-time resident of Rugby. Hopefully after tonight they'll still play me. And this is Tara Seister. She's joining me on the banjo, hails from Woodbury, Tennessee. So if you were paying attention to the video, who was paying attention to the video? Yeah, Mark Lane was right there. Our piece we put together is about Rugby and its utopian village and all of its plans and dreams, and also a few pieces from our own lives. Thomas Hughes had great designs for the village of Rugby, but sometimes the best laid plans die out. And they leave the ghosts to pick up and carry the pieces. Now there are a few types of ghosts we're going to talk about this evening. The first type being those cardboard cutouts of Casper the Friendly Ghost that trim the doorway of every elementary school this time of year. Right, Jackson? A little less interesting than the ghosts that we create in our minds from conversations left unfinished or unsaid. Or the ghosts that we create of ourselves when we shrink from our greatness. And of course, there are those ghosts that exist in the realm between the living and the dead, slipping through tree lines and knocking about on those creaky floorboards of, say, Kingston Lyle. Knocking about to find a peaceful resting place somewhere else in the distance. The stories are like wild creatures. When you let them loose, you never know what havoc they are going to reap. On nights like tonight, you get that feeling of the trees that are shredding their leaves, which is a constant reminder of death. The decaying earth constantly reminds you of that death, and even the light begins to die early on the horizon. The fog rolls in through the valley in the morning and back through at night. And it sinks that chill in your bones that's reminiscent of what it might feel like if you were buried 6 feet underground. Taking a stroll through those woods in that fog, you begin to hear the leaves that are rustling together, and you begin for just one moment to wonder, is that really just the leaves? Or is it an ethereal spirit sneaking up behind you? Another hang slowly take. Lingering in the hills of the Appalachians are the memories of ancestors who have sat down to eat the sins for their deceased family members. Now, if you're not familiar with the eating of sins, it's where the eldest born of the family, usually the son, will sit down and eat a big, heaping plate of food over the cold, dead body of their dearly departed. It's meant to be a ritual to symbolize absolving that person of their worldly sins so they may pass into the next life absolved. But those are some hard mouthfuls to swallow. Foundations of families have been built upon this eating of sins, and superstitions and tall tales told to keep little children from doing what they ought not do. Tales of the booger man and boogie man, bear tales and haints, all meant to keep children tasseled up in their bed sheets at night, rather than straying too far out into that dark countryside. Another mother's breaking heart is taken. The violence caused the signs we must be. Thomas Hughes had great hopes for this village of Rugby, but by the end of his life, typhoid fever, downright lackadaisical practices by those second sons of England, and just poor location found Rugby falling off the map of importance by the end of his life. So he wrote, "A good seed was sown when Rugby was founded, and someday the reapers will come along with great joy, bearing heavy sheaves with them." Well, reapers may be coming along, but on nights like tonight, it feels more like the Grim Reapers as we gather together in one of the most haunted towns in America. In your head, zombie, 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 in your head, zombie, zombie, zombie. People sometimes hear the knock on the door or the faint crackle of a fire as they pass by the empty field on their way to Laureldale Cemetery here in Rugby, Tennessee. It was in that field in 1880 that the first tavern was erected. It was 3 stories with these wide verandas and a mansard roof. And the 3rd story had this ornate grille work and these happy, arched, welcoming windows. It was built to house the boarders who were building their legacy in the soil with which you have stood tonight, calling and beckoning for the promises of riches to come. But on Halloween of 1884, it burnt down under mysterious circumstances. So when a second tavern was erected in that very same spot, it housed again all the villagers' hopes for a thriving utopian village. And it did begin to bustle. By 1897, the hotel manager, Mr. Davis, and his lovely young wife hosted a grand soiree to ring in the new year. They brought in a brass band from Harriman, Tennessee, and those guests danced the night away until they welcomed in a chorus of Old Lang Syne. Rumors of a handsome Englishman, probably one of those second sons, dancing a little too close to Mrs. Davis, began to circulate like vultures on the carnage of gossip. Mr. Davis grew more sullen and murky and withdrawn in the days that followed. On a bitterly cold January morning a few weeks later, a scene of blood and gore was discovered in the Davis' room. Number 13, of course. The young and lovely Mrs. Davis was enveloped in a set of crimson blood-stained sheets with her throat cut from ear to ear, while Mr. Davis lay in a heap beside her, blood oozing from a self-inflicted wound to the head. No note was written. Nothing to ascertain. Was it madness or depression or jealousy? But one thing was for certain. A depression wrapped around that tavern, and it left the walls of room number 13 vacant for the duration of its days to come. So when the second tavern burned down a few years later, there were eyewitnesses that testified that they heard these blood-curdling screams coming from that vacant room number 13. And it was the very last room to burn. Now, because it was a slow burn, they were able to save a few pieces from the tavern in that room, and they've sprinkled them about through Rugby. Some people say they can still hear those pieces sizzle and plead and beg for their life from the fire. I wish my breath witches that conjure them into being. What feels like a land far, far away. I had a job of being a caterer on the road for some bands. In 2009, I had the great gift of hearing this song every night from the side of the stage. It sounds really great until you hear it every night for about a year. And then it becomes more of a haunting. Don't get me wrong, the Eagles are magical. And I love watching them swoop those people spellbound into their siren song. I've had a back of people back there happy to clap along. I have a feeling that you all might actually know this song, yes? Heard it once or twice? So in this next piece, just really for our funsies, we'd like a little audience participation. So we're gonna practice our conjuring together. When you see this, you will start. Ooh, witchy woman, see how high she flies. Ooh, witchy woman, she got the moon in her eyes. Oh, yeah, lady. Is about my time out on the road and how I often made a ghost of myself when I missed things that were familiar, my family, and I'd have to find myself in the most unexpected places. Ooh, witchy woman, see how high she flies. Sitting on the curb of any parking lot in anywhere America. Morning sun rises to kiss my sleepy eyelids. The air is cool, but the approach of summer lingers heavily in my cells and promises to soak my skin as that sun rises higher in the sky. Drink a cup of coffee, hoping the brain will turn on. Take a slow inhale in. Because honestly, that will be the last time that I think straight or breathe slow for the next 15 hours. What will the first stupid question I get about coffee and donuts be this morning?
Do we have glazed donuts? Is there any cream in coffee? What about some splendid?
Peace!
Ooh, witchy woman, see how high she flies. Ooh, witchy woman, she got the moon in her eyes.
At 22, with the world of adventure stretched out before me, I took those opportunities that seemed the most promising for great plot development or character building on the fabric of my unmarked life. Opportunities that brought Bob Dylan sneaking up behind me to whisper in my ear, "Eeny, meeny, miny, moe." To which one naturally replied, "Catch Bob Dylan by the toe." Where I got the best seat each night to bring sexy back, or marvel at Babs and all her glittery glow, or see the Eagles soar through a sea of 35,000 fans. That bird's eye view that made me feel like I was special. Then I'd look down at my dirty clothes and my food-soaked shoes and reality. Ooh, witchy woman, see how high she flies. Ooh, witchy woman, she got the moon in her eyes. Some mornings, I'd find that creeper missing someone, anyone, swirling in the steam of my coffee cup and glaring back at me, reflecting a lifetime of lonesomeness. Grateful to call an early rising grandmother whose happiness radiated those phone lines, permeating my skin, building that armor that I would carry with me for the rest of the day. Now my grandmother, she was the OG roadie. She loaded a station wagon down with 3 teenage girls, full of sheet music and banana bread and dresses she'd sewn in between teaching school and then after school teaching piano lessons and then after that keeping up with a 300-acre farm. She spun a web across the southeast between Kiwanis luncheons and county singing contest fairs so she could capture in that spider web a scholarship to college for those girls. These were feats which seemed completely insurmountable in today's modern era of, you know, Tara, I just do not have enough time. Life is adulting is hard. I don't like to, you know. Please. My grandmother sewed 52 outfits for each girl. In just a matter of 2 years, she had sewn 156 outfits. I barely sewn 5 in my entire lifetime. How many have you sewn? 0. Ooh, witchy woman, see how high she flies. Ooh, witchy woman, she got the moon in her eyes. Those 3 girls went on to become the Tritones, and they won themselves a spot on the Arthur Godfrey radio show up in New York City. Listening to their popping and crackling of their Arthur Godfrey show recording, their southern drawl captivating your heart like sorghum molasses, sweet and savory and smooth. So much hope wrapped in those performances. Who would be listening? What adventures would unfold for these sweet molasses with just enough charm, dedication, talent? My grandmother started paying into my adventures. She started charting out my whimsical path with each stitch on those hemlines and each slice of that banana bread. And it grew in those car seats as those girls bounced in and out, all giggly and excited. And it grew with energy with each contest won and each scholarship awarded until it landed. And those ghost-like swirls of that coffee cup and enveloped up around me to remind me of who I really am as it stared back at me on that curb in anywhere America. Ooh, witchy woman, see how high she flies. Ooh, witchy woman, she got the moon in her eyes. applauded the Bell Witch as one of the most fearsome, gruesome things beneath southern skies. And her cave was just an hour's drive north of my house. In high school, we would load my car down to go steal a listen at the Bell Witch's cave. 6 people deep, rolling in a 4-person capacity 2-door Nissan Pulsar. Maroon sports drive, bike rack, and a muffler that lived inside the trunk. There was absolutely no sneaking in past curfew in that car. Jack, you'll never sneak in past curfew, I know you won't. Let alone down a dirt road on a witch hunt. Now don't get me wrong, I felt fancy in my Nissan Pulsar that was inherited from my sister that reeked of her job at Captain D's. Had some fancy bass to blare my Beastie Boys. And it also had this new technology. Are you ready, Tara? It had new technology that when the oil light came on, it meant it was automatically changing. It's not actual real technology. That was just a bare tale my sister told me when she was giving me the car. That car needed an exorcism of its own. Nissan Pulsar. It's all in the name. Pulsing along at the light speed of 15 miles an hour. Everybody leaning forward as I'm white knuckling it, hoping when we're going to get up to the top of that hill so we can still listen down there at the mouth of the cave. Wondering what old Kate would do tonight. Would she shapeshift?